Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Town of Port Royal March Council Workshop. Our first item of business tonight is a council briefing from our town manager.
All right, we'll start off. Safe Harbor, nothing of significant support this time. Obviously, they're still moving forward with the floating dock fabrication operation. I do know that the person that they've engaged to build the docks is actually looking for housing in town, and we've been trying to help them out a little bit, so that's pretty exciting. I did reach out to them as a result of the retreat request for more formal or regular communications regarding progress or anything that they're up to. They did respond, and I think one of the first dates we're looking at is March 16th. So we'll try to figure out and coordinate, and they're going to figure out which of their personnel, but it was Robbie that I talked to, so that's good news. Rebo Road Corridor Study, still working towards final product. I did include in your packets the, actually PDF, the Dropbox PowerPoint presentation as a result of that meeting, but I also included some of the work product they're anticipating as a result of that first set of meetings and the subsequent input that we provided to look at some alternatives for the Nally site, as well as kind of look at the Naval Hospital, some just some generalized bubble sort of planning, and then to look at what is called kind of the gateway properties, which is where Sea Island Apartments, Coca-Cola, that area, and they're going to look at some additional drawings there. So progress has continued. Brooke put in your folder some information that she and I received at the retail strategies training that we're going through that gives you some information on demographics, what some of the software is seeing in our markets. I did pass that along to Arnett Muldrow, and they looked at it and said, we're actually going to be giving something a little bit more specific in terms of reports back.
Okay.
Because one of the things that we asked of the group, when they looked at our market, obviously they kind of roll us up once again into Beaufort when they do those kind of analyses of who your customers are. And so we've asked them to kind of sector it out a little more. So, and I'm kind of combining some stuff together, but I just wanted to mention also that we had access this week to some software that really let us drill down, and something we talked about on Saturday, about those areas we can circle and get information. Brooke is putting together a series of reports. They'll give you all some ideas of, key locations, key times of the year, who is coming into town, how many people are here, where they're from, where they're going. So we'll be putting all that together. Sands Beach, RFP bidding put together, trying to get that done as quickly as we can. I just wanted to bring that back up.
Are we just going to invite a couple of local?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna scope it out. Michael knows what that is. We had the conversations last week, and he's reaching out. He's reaching out also back out to Tony because of some of the contacts he had, and will let us, figure out specifically who those local companies are. We kind of already know who they are, but just in case. So, and we want to get that done as quickly as we can. Because we got some restriping work that we want to do, and typically most of the asphalt companies obviously do striping.
The striping as well.
Yeah, so when we add that, we got a situation in Midtown we got to address also. So, impact fees, we met to discuss the revision of that list. I feel like I'm repeating a lot of stuff from Saturday, but different format. Because of that, the first list basically, when you extrapolate it out, the potential cost is going to be about $9,000 per unit, new unit. So they asked us all to kind of create priorities from the list of projects and kind of break it down in $50 million tranches, if you will, to kind of figure out where we want to go. City and the town, and I think UMC was invited to the meeting also, gave them what our priorities were, 1, 2s, and 3s within that framework. And so Jared is working on refining that list, so we'll then know what we could be looking at for as a potential impact fee moving forward. But we all know we're looking at the capital project sales tax. We're looking at, how we revise the TIF or revisit the TIF. So how all these things shake out on lists could be pretty interesting. So capital project sales tax, our appointee was named chair, so Dean is chairing that. He's so very happy about that. But nevertheless, that's what happened to him. They are still determining what sort of length they would like to do. These obviously are recommendations that then go into the county for confirmation, but it could be 10, could be 15, 20 years. And then obviously that impacts the project list.
Are they leaning towards length and just see what we get, or set a number and see how long it takes to get there?
Well, right now we're generating countywide about $40 million worth of sales tax annually. So if they come up with, a list of projects that everybody feels comfortable with, they may back into the term.
Gotcha, yeah.
But I do know that, when Charleston contemplated their sales tax, they actually set aside money because they didn't know what their needs would be 10, 12, 15 years from now. And so they didn't want to be caught shorthanded, so they, I don't know what the exact description of how they describe that money, but, that's something we probably need to think about also.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's even recent discussion because of a column written about a third crossing, Ladies On to Beaufort. So, if that gets thrown in the equation, then the dollars involved with that are pretty significant.
So you're anticipating more growth over the next 20 years in Beaufort County?
Right. Yes.
That was a joke.
I'm Karnak, obviously. Tony doesn't know who Karnak is, but that's okay. I'll explain it later. Yeah, that's it. So, next up, Spanish Moss Trail. We did a temporary flagging to kind of more specifically identify where that easement would be for the path once we get it across, the temporary path we talked about. Flagged it out, Dean, with a 12-foot wide path, anticipating about 4 feet on each side for this. So looking at about a 20-foot easement to get that temporary path down to, have a destination once the crossing is built. So that's been, Safe Harbor is aware of it, and based upon the feedback I got from Safe Harbor, the Friends are drafting the easement document to move it forward. Shrimp facility boats, in your folders, there were 3 reports there, kind of broken down as to where we are with the different types of, I don't want to call them seizures or abandonments or whatever they may be, but it's kind of a progress report of where he is on all of the boats. Obviously, the biggest challenge he had, and I think I've talked about this before, is just identifying a point of contact and serving them. And I think the company he's using to serve has been very successful, and I think we've pretty much almost 100% on serving the owners of the boats to make them aware of what their deadlines are and what their obligations will be as we try to get them relocated so that we can do the repairs to the shrimp dock.
Right.
So, sidewalks, obviously we have this spreadsheet and map created. We think that's going to serve us very well when we look at this general obligation borrowing for stuff downtown, which I think is kind of the focus of the $3 million pot of money. So I just wanted to keep that on the radar as well, because I know that there are some others that we may identify from time as we move this forward, say, hey, we really need to do this one. So, and we'll plug that into the spreadsheet and map. CDBG projects, we've pretty much got the go on both of them now. Received letters from the Department of Commerce on both Narcissus, the Royal Palm sewer project, as well as the improvements to Paris Avenue. Obviously, dollars are not going as far as they once did, so there are going to be some costs associated with both of these projects. I think we have opportunities, obviously, with ARPA to address any shortfalls in the sewer project, and I think we just got another ruling on, and I haven't dug into this too deep, but it basically intimated, I think, that if you receive less than $10 million of ARPA funds, you basically, the requirements aren't maybe as stringent as they originally were. But, we're going to have, and this is something Michael talked about, if we're on Paris Avenue and we're digging things up and opening up the road, we need to contemplate the other utilities and have mobilization all at one time. The water lines need to be replaced, and we all know right now sewer comes from the side streets up to Paris Avenue. It doesn't run down Paris Avenue, so there may be some opportunities there. We did the light study. They presented that to us. We have different DOT standards versus what the town will do in terms of separation and lighting. So they're preparing some estimates for that lighting for us.
And that's Dominion.
Yes, Dominion. So that's pretty exciting. If any of you walk Paris Avenue at night, there's some pretty bad spots So that'll be good. But Michael really wanted us to think about, what we could do with Paris Avenue. That's what we talked about a little bit on Saturday as well, stand-up curb, better stormwater drainage. So something to think about also as we do this borrowing, see where it goes.
The answers are yes and yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
there you go.
we all know that, and I guess from an engineering perspective, what we need is someone to
Yeah,
kind of deliver us a design that makes sense,
right,
that fully utilizes that 80-foot plus right-of-way.
yeah.
With, I think this council and everybody is, we want pedestrian friendly, wide sidewalks, and obviously stormwater is always important. It just shrunk.
Yeah, and just going back to that capital project sales tax, Benny, we did deliver the priorities to Dean that y'all acknowledged. So he's got those. Porter's Chapel, y'all directed us to go ahead and get something scheduled, so we'll start working on that.
I'll let you really quick. I'm sure y'all talked to him. Scott Teodorsky.
From the National Park Service.
He was at the Shell Ring Ale Works last night, and he was asking about what we were doing with that, and he just wanted to make sure that we coordinate tightly with them. He's like, we've got a lot of resources, and we just want to make sure that
Yeah.
he wanted me to relay that they're
Oh,
on the
yeah.
same page, and they want to be heavily involved.
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
Naval Hospital sidewalk, I sent y'all the email I received today. Nothing new, another survey issue that they've identified and tried to work through, blah, blah, blah. Same story since 2016. And then I mentioned PD was able to locate some vehicles for Streets and Sanitation, their department, so I'm going to formally bring y'all the approval of that expenditure next week. But we're real excited. They did a good job negotiating a pretty good deal for us. And if it's a need, and it helps us with next year because in anticipation of the borrowing, we talked about millage reduction. So if we can take care of some of the needs in this fiscal year, that'll help offset the impact next year. Cypress wetlands. We were looking at that hydrograph study to ascertain what the total capacity was. We had some discussions with Dean Morrissey, and he indicated that a lot of the data that we needed, Millennium had through Ward Edwards, so some of the cost of that will be offset by us being able to use the data that we needed. So we will know what the projections are from that area into the wetland. So that's
Okay.
good news.
That's good.
Anything else? I think that's all I've got, unless y'all have some questions about anything.
I do not, council.
Not at this time, yeah.
When you talked to Safe Harbor, there was some discussion that they're working on the marina, changing that permit. Did they say anything to you about that?
No. Mm-mm. And all I did today was said, listen, we'd like to hear from you
Okay,
on a more regular basis
okay,
on what's going on, status of anything.
okay. So next item is to review the council agenda for next week. You want to go ahead and take us through that?
Yeah. Make sure I'm good. Give me 1 sec. Yes, we will have a proclamation for disabilities awareness. Following that, we will have a presentation from Dominion Energy. Kelly Laird obviously wants to discuss some potential grant opportunities with the town. So like Brooke said, we'll give her the floor as we run the meter, so that'll be good. The next one, I think we're taking that off. Yeah, that's pretty much it, isn't it?
The food truck court is coming off.
The first reading came off.
The first reading came off, but the presentation for the
Oh,
food
okay,
truck
my
court?
bad. Yeah, skip that one, here we go. And, yeah, we'll have a presentation on food trucks. I don't know if you wanna talk a little bit about.
Don't,
what you're-
don't steal your thunder.
No, I'll hold off, but yeah, again, for extra clarification, it's the difference between the food trucks that we spoke about at the retreat being being allowed generally in the town on private property, and then looking at, where in the village they would be allowed besides the parks where they currently are allowed, versus, which what I'll be presenting to you is food truck court as a use, which we may be able to include that in a restaurant use, the way that the code is written. But I just wanted to make you all aware of that, what that type of development would look like, the permanency of it. All the approvals they would still need to go through despite there being vendors changing over time. So that's what I'll be presenting to you. It doesn't have anything to do with the food truck ordinance and the language that Brooke and I were talking to you about on Saturday.
Okay. Any other
Trying
questions?
to get a handle on all of that.
And then we've got a council action.
Do you want to touch on
Oh,
that?
yeah, so Noah and I have been working with, her name is Katie Silva with Low Country Maid Market for over at the Live Oak Park. We met with her on Monday. We asked the question from the retreat that was asked of us about the liability, and we did find out that she does carry a $2 million policy for liability, and we'll be able to put the town underneath that as well. She has been reaching out to all of the local businesses to welcome them to the market as well and see how she can work with them. She's excited about Port Royal. She worked a little bit, I'll let her talk about this. She approached the city and was having a little difficulty, and but there was something that she just was very warming of Port Royal, and she feels like this is a very good location for that market. And we've seen how well that the farmers market has done, and I think that she'll be able to bring a unique tourist attraction and present Port Royal in another light. So she'll be here to answer any questions. She's going to be giving us a site plan. She's already filled out a business license. We have that on hold until we get an approval. And if you guys have any other questions, I think she's going to be reaching out to council as well, so that way if any council members have any other questions that she can answer to.
Are we doing park rental?
She's filling out the park rental.
Okay.
So what are we actually approving? Because we don't normally approve park rentals. What are we approving here? Does it?
The market itself. I know the festivals, Food Truck Festival came before council for approval, so she wants to do everything.
And I guess we do those because we're closing the roads and stuff, and this is not doing that. I'm just asking, just trying to understand why would we do this different? We don't do like the Oyster Fest, we don't do,
Like charities?
the charities, we don't do
I'm
charities.
saying if it's a park rental, just,
It's a park rental.
yeah.
I
Well,
just-
if y'all are comfortable, I mean, yeah, she will be in compliance. I mean, we've worked out the scheduling.
I think it's great that she tells us what
Yeah.
she's bringing to town, but for this may be just a presentation for information only. You
Yeah.
guys think about that and move, this may be better that it's for presentation only, so that we know what's happening and the way she's gone about it and everything, and hearing from you is important. But if we're not closing the road, because I'm afraid if we do this one, the charities, we gotta do approval of charities, we gotta do approval for
Yeah.
anything that, kind of sells tickets and uses our parks. I don't think that's the way we've set Port Royal up.
And as long as
We
she
want it to
does-
be simple and easy. Go ahead, Mary Beth.
I'm sorry. As long as she's got a business license and she's renting the park like anybody else would do, I'm with you, Joe. I
Yeah,
don't
so
see
maybe
anything.
this is a presentation only.
Okay, and she's
Okay.
happy to answer any questions
Yep.
that council members
Yep.
have, and I think she might even have a site plan to show what it will look
Be
like
great.
at
Okay.
Live Oak Park as well.
Fine, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm looking, Chiefs. Got a nod from the back of the room on Chiefs?
Both keeps
Floral?
good?
Very good. And then we've got important dates. Before we get into the important dates on that agenda, let's look at the important dates on the one in front of us, because we've got a bunch.
Yeah. On Friday, March 4th, from 6 to 9 p.m. is the Beaufort Charity Sponsorship event obviously for sponsors. Saturday, March 5th, from 8 to 11 is the Low Country Habitat 5K Women's Wellness Run at Live Oak Park. Saturday, March 5th, from 1 to 10 is the Beaufort Charities Oyster Roast at Live Oak Park. Wednesday, March 9th at 6:30 p.m. is a public hearing.
It would be
It's for Lowcock.
Oh, okay.
The Lowcock public hearing.
All right, and then Wednesday, March 9th, immediately following the public hearing, we'll have our regular council meeting. And then, going back to the other one, on Saturday, March 19th, from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., we have the Port Royal Methodist Church's Concert for a Cause 2.0 at Live Oak Park. So obviously, Live Oak Park is
It's hot.
very busy.
That's
Very good.
definitely a busy place.
It's good.
Mm-hmm, it's utilized.
Yep. Very good. Council comments. You a record workshop for me? No, what? I can find some things to talk about for a half hour?
Nah,
No, okay.
That's all right.
I could go back in
Y'all
there.
got us for 7 or on
We
Saturday.
spent 7 hours together on
Yeah,
Saturday,
yeah.
so it's
Yeah.
not surprising in that way. But anything we need to, Kevin, I heard you read this morning at,
At the school, yeah.
At
it
the
was
school?
It was always fun. It's like Reading Awareness Week, so I read a book about Clark the Shark to some second graders. Yeah, it was a good time.
okay, I'm so glad you were able to do that.
Yeah, it's
that's-
fun.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
Port Royal Week,
Read Across Port Royal
be
Week.
there on Friday.
Okay,
Oh.
yeah.
Read across Port Royal, you'll be there on Friday.
Awesome.
Nice.
I
nice.
did wanna, Miss Shirley, and wanted to know about the coming across out there at Casablanca. The chief just told me tonight, and Van, that is a state road. So we own the roads here so we can do it, but because it's Casablanca and the road is owned by the state, we have to have permission from the state to do that.
Is that the Waddell crossing you're talking about?
No,
No,
it's just
like
speed
down
bump.
Casablanca, cars are,
Okay,
like if
okay,
there's
for the
something
speed
at the
bump,
light, they
yeah.
come flying up through Casablanca, and there's a lot of children in that
Okay,
area.
the speed bump.
And
Is
so
there
they
a
had
particular
asked-
time of day that it's really happening?
Well, basically, most of the day.
Most of the day.
But more so when they're getting off work
Okay.
and they fly, I mean, when I say fly, I mean they fly, they roll through the stop sign, I mean, stop,
Yeah.
okay, it's bad.
Well, we can do some
Yeah.
directed
Put
patrols.
it on my radar.
Okay.
I'm gonna send out an email right now.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you for
Yeah.
bringing it to our attention.
But I did want to tell you, we did check them.
But this, this is, it's the same case that we're seeing with the other state-owned roads. They allow these things. I mean, you go into Charleston and neighborhoods and all the state-owned roads, there are speed tables.
Yeah.
That the DOT is allowed to be installed.
It's a new policy that they have in place, and we probably need Michael or to ask
James,
somebody to look into it and see
Yeah.
what does it take for us to get qualified for that. We'll probably have to do some traffic counts, and I know we maybe.
and we can do it, we're doing the traffic
Yeah,
counts.
we'll start doing some traffic counts and see what we can do to qualify. As far as I thought you were talking about the Casablanca Waddell crossing. Just recently, as recently as last night, there's a brand-new crossing on a neighboring town's in the middle of a block, connecting two sidewalks on a state-owned road.
It's gonna start with a B, does it?
Maybe, I took some photos of that, and I'm gonna ask them, how is it that they can have that crossing in the middle of a street, and we can't?
couldn't.
And it was freshly paved by DOT, and the crossing was installed by them.
Wow.
So, needless to say, I found that last night, and I've got some photos, and I'm putting together a little document to send up and ask questions why. Said, I'm not giving this one a rest. We're either gonna get it, or, I don't know, we're just gonna get tired of hearing from me.
That's right, people deserve it over
If
there
anybody,
too, at the
if
Casablanca.
anybody knows the movie Shawshank Redemption, it's like getting the library. I'm not giving up. I gotta write 2 letters a week. No one knows the movie? You know what I'm talking about.
It's a great movie.
I was joking, that's how we're gonna get the sidewalk. We're all gonna shake out a little bit of concrete.
We're just gonna walk down there and everybody, look hole in the pocket, shake out the concrete.
You're weak to shake.
Sorry, everybody, about that. We're talking about the Waddell Road pedestrian crossing and the sidewalk in front of the Naval Hospital on Revolt Road. So, thank you for the
Yeah, we got a lot of
information.
children over in the Casablanca area
Mhm,
that have
we
to
do.
cross over to go to school.
I mean, the whole grant was for, safe sidewalks to schools, so Casablanca get to the schools, and we didn't give them a crossing. We have to get that crossing in there. We just gotta figure that out and get it done.
Yep.
Anything else from council? Anything from the public? If not, thank you, everybody, for this short meeting, and everybody be happy for that. And Tony, let us know.